Yes, this is Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. That'll be me, by the way. Right, okay. I'm going to talk today a little bit about D-Wing at Wormwood Scrubs, which was the lifers wing when I worked there. And I was there in 1975, started about May 1975. Anyway, D-Wing. My first experience of going on to D-Wing, apart from the induction process, was one day I was sent there because they were short of staff. I was just a junior officer, you know. So I went there and the principal officer said to me, I want you to go and supervise the laundry. Oh, not a problem. So I get to the laundry and get all the laundry basket. The idea was that they packed all the laundry up into separate bags, shirts in one, trousers in another, vests in another, underpants in another. And so I was supervising there were two inmates doing this, yeah, red bands or whatever they were, you know. And so I was in D-Wing, and the principal officer of D-Wing came over and said, Mr. Sutton, I want you to count all those, pointing at the underwear. I said, do you really? He said, yes, just count them all and put them in there, make sure. So I won't be doing that, will I? He said, that's a direct order, by the way. I said, well, here's a direct answer. Get some other cunt to do it. Seriously? He expected me to go counting inmates' underpants. I said to the two inmates that were there, I said, you count the underpants and the socks. I said, you count the vests, the shirts and the trousers. I said, now get on with it. I said to the principal officer, and that is how you get the laundry sorted out, not by doing it yourself. So don't give me instructions like that. So the principal officer's fuming at this, you know, because he's the big daddy, you know. One of these big bastards, you know, 6'2", 18, 19 stone, used to telling people what to do. Wasn't too keen on being told to piss off. But basically, what else would you do? I mean, it was obviously his kind of way of showing that he was the big daddy in charge of everything, you know. He was going to, I'll tell you this junior screw what to do, you know, and the inmates can have a little laugh at watching me counting the underpants. Yeah, they got no chance of that, I'll tell you. Anyway, so I told him to piss off, effectively. I didn't get back to D-Wing for some while after that, you know. For some unknown reason, he didn't want me there. Anyway, one night I was there on D-Wing, on duty at night, you know, so it was 5:30 to 9 o'clock, you know, evening patrol, you know. Basically all you're doing is making sure everybody's had the required tea, you know. They get tea and buns and what have you, you know, a little evening snack, and you count them all, make sure they're all locked up at the end, put the numbers in, and once you've done that, then the night patrol comes on, and you're off. You're away. So that's about 9 o'clock, 10 to 9, something like that. So anyway, it gets to be about 8:30, and I'm patrolling. I think it was D4, and one of the inmates said, hey, boss, come have a look at this. So I said, you know, what is it you want? I'm a bit cautious, you know. I mean, it wasn't my regular wing, and I really didn't know this inmate, although I'd spoken to him a little time before he went on to D-Wing, because he was originally on C-Wing where I was. So I said, oh, what is it? What do you want? What do you want? He said, just have a look through there. He said, if you stand on that chair there and look through the bars, yeah, directly across, it's the fourth room in on the right-hand side. Have a look in that. So I shot the bolt on the door, you know, bang, you know, so they can't lock me in, yeah. And he was a fairly affable kind of inmate, you know, so I climbed up, stood up on the chair, and did as he suggested, look across. And there, across Artillery Road it was, you got Duquesne Road, and on the left you've got the Scrubs. At the end of the Scrubs, you've got Artillery Road, which runs up to the actual playing field alongside Hammersmith Hospital, but it was the accommodation block of Hammersmith Hospital, where the nurses were, they had rooms there, you know. So I looked up across at this thing, about the fourth one in from the right, and there, believe this or believe this not, was this beautiful blonde-haired lady ironing. I don't know what she was ironing, but she was ironing something, you know. And as I looked, I could see, you know, that whilst she was ironing some clothing or other, she didn't have any on herself. She was absolutely stark bollock naked, big tits, and a big airy minge. Seriously. I said to this inmate, how often does this go on? He said, it's usually a regular occurrence. You know, I said, we're all on this side, get up on things and watching this. He said, it ain't just her. He said, there's quite a few of them. Imagine that. I mean, come on. You know fine well that you're facing the prison, yeah? And strangely enough, yeah, it was in the papers about 15 years ago or something like that. The staff who were in the discipline unit, the security unit at the Scrubs, they had cameras on the walls, yeah? And instead of using the cameras to actually check Artillery Road and the inside of the prison to make sure it was secure and there was nobody drawing up with a wagon or anything to climb over the walls or anything, instead of doing that, they got the security cameras turned around so they were facing right in to the nurses' quarters, so they could watch all these nurses prancing around bollock naked and flashing the minges to the inmates. Imagine that. It was in all the papers anyway. They fitted metal stops on that so they couldn't only get the cameras around. Imagine having to do that, eh? Imagine being interested enough to want to watch it. I mean, I didn't spend much time watching that, honestly. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, we're on D-Wing now, yeah, at the Scrubs. Yeah, seriously. And it was, I was on nights. Yeah, D-Wing is a big old Victorian wing. It's got 4 landings, you know. There were probably about 200, 300 inmates in there. And when you're on night patrol, you're on your own, you know. On your own. In there. Nobody else. And it was winter. I think it was January or something like that. Bloody freezing. So I got my issue big overcoat on. So you can't go anywhere to get warm. There's nowhere to get warm. You're sitting out, you're in, and then you go walk around the wings. And what you had to do was, they had like a clock thing where you go, you press the clock, you know, and it registers on the sheets, you know, in the chief in the governor's office, you know, not the governor, the chief officer's unit, yeah. And it registers that you've actually done your patrol, you know, and every half an hour you have to do that. One time you have to do it at the bottom on D1, yeah, and the next half an hour you had to do it at the top of D4. So you're up and down all damn night. 9 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning. Quite a long shift, yeah. Freezing cold, up and down. So anyway, it gets to be about midnight, half past midnight, something like that. There's boom, 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 banging on the bloody door. Somebody's banging on the door. Help, help! Up to the 4s. It was on D4, right at the end of D4, not the far end. So I went up there and I went to the cell. I said, "What's the matter? What's the matter? Banging on your door, you wake everybody up." He said, "There's a woman in my room. A woman's on my bed. A woman." I said, "Listen, this is a male prison. You know, there's only male inmates here. There's no females. So there's definitely no female inmates." I said, "So what you've done is you've had a very bad dream." It took me about 20 minutes to calm this guy down, because he was quite absolutely dead certain that sitting on his bed was a woman. And I tell you what, it was spooky that, yeah. Anyway, I managed to calm him down, but I missed clocking in because I was dealing with this incident. But I had an incident book, so I wrote it up, you know, exactly what happened, cell number, inmate's name, time it happened, how it was dealt with, you know. Comes the following morning, and the senior officer came round. He said, Mr. Sutton, he said, you failed to clock in at 12:30. I said, yeah, it's in the incident book. He said, never mind the incident book. He said, you're required every half an hour to log in. He said, and you didn't do it. I said, if you look at the incident book, you know, you'll see exactly why. I said, I was dealing with an incident with an inmate who was banging and waking the whole place up. That's no excuse, he said. And by this time I'm realising that I'm not going to get any sense out of this guy, because he's obviously boiled his brains or something, or forgotten to fit them in before he put his cap on. Yeah. Anyway, so I said, all right. I said, I've dealt with it, and that's the answer. You know, if you want to do anything else, it's up to you. Get on with it, you know. But I've done what I believed was right, and I dealt with that. I said to this guy, he told me that there was a woman sitting on his bed. He said, did he? I said, yeah. And he said, I've told him that there's no. It took me about 25 minutes, 20 minutes to calm him down. So which I did, and he went back to sleep, and that was it. I told him he just had a bad dream. He said, well, in actual fact, he said, this D-Wing, when it was originally commissioned in the 1860s, was a female prison. He said, and numerous prisoners have reported seeing this female on D4. And they said it was reported at the time that this female in the 1870s, 1880s, something like that, they took her child off her, because they used to allow female prisoners to have the children in the prison with them until the child was about 6 months old, you know, to wean it off, yeah. Anyway, and they said when they took the child off her, she threw herself off the 4th landing and landed on the dead. He said, and over the years, people have reported seeing this lady on D4. So it's quite possible that she was in that cell, sitting on his bed. Oh, that really cheered me up. Yeah. Anyway, I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed today's Tales from the Jails. And oh, by the way, Psychic Screw, it's available on Amazon. It's a wonderful read. I know the guy who wrote it. It's me. Yes, folks. Thank you very much.